the programming. I'm chasing
Captain America.
And I pressed that way too early. And along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
I had to press yours early because there's like a second delay, which I guess I could fix.
But we've been doing it for all this time. Why fix it now?
Yeah, I've been on a good streak of not screwing it up, so we were due.
And you know what? And if it does happen, it just gives us a little something to chuckle about when we start.
Man, what's going on in the comments? Jeez.
Well, I asked, I go, hey, so we're redoing the Open, right? So with that being the case, what do we need to be thinking about if we're redoing the Open? So just kind of stirring up the group a little bit,
Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne. I usually don't say that.
That's a movie quote.
But yeah, I'm doing a movie quote.
Totally.
I usually don't go that far. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Today, usually when we reprogram, we try to be as hands-off as possible. But this time around, we just we demoed the building.
All right, here's a sledgehammer and a chisel, jackhammer, and a bag of concrete. Go make something.
Say an entire like thing of TNT and just. And so we're gonna do that, but we're gonna talk leading up to it, not to prolong the excitement, but what we look at the Open as, what we believe it should be, what we believe it can still be, even in the format. Mm-hmm. Like everybody keeps looking at 3 weeks, like, oh, we can't do so much in 3 weeks. I'm like, yes, you can.
Dude, you could do so much.
So much. And it doesn't even have to be extravagant. With the 3-week Open format, knowing we're taking the top 1% to online semifinals, which allows them to basically do in-person actually, technically, everybody can do an in-person qualifier,
right? But
you can't qualify out of the in-person qualifier unless you're in the top 1%. But when I look at the Open now, I think it's fair to say in 3 weeks, the Open has always been a challenge. It's always trying to thread that needle between giving everybody an opportunity or a taste and testing the fittest people to move on to the next stage. In 5 weeks, so much easier to do because you had 5 opportunities to be a little bit more vague here, but specific here, and other opportunities to move things around. It's like, all right, we don't hit it there. It's okay. We'll get it 3 weeks from now. And we'll throw in maybe a repeat. 3 weeks, not as easy. So I think recognizing that, but that doesn't mean it's not doable.
No, and
easily doable.
If you look back of all the Open events that we've talked about, in some and whether some have been good or bad or whatever, starting off, I mean, we've had events start off with ring muscle ups. Like,
right.
Could you, like, it just, if you think about that now for just a second, if that was the brains that would explode all over the place, like that is this ungodly and unimaginable thing. But also the way that it's been developed in a way that they have the Open, which, yes, everyone's allowed to compete. It also is supposed to be a qualifier into the next stage. And throughout the years, whatever that next stage would be. And through the time, they've developed the scaled division, added that in there, and now even have the foundational division that's now in there. So when you look at the way that it's been set up, the design of the Open itself, and then putting the caveat, and last year we went from the top 25% would advance on, which is everybody. Like, I mean, you literally, it didn't matter. To this year, we have 1%.
Right.
Which is, I mean, the second most important Open that we've ever had, barring ones that went directly from the Open to the games.
Right.
And that's a large jump, which means that now you have to be very specific about the programming. Last year, and I've said this a bunch of times, last year the statement was, I should be able to grab someone from across the street, bring them over to the gym, and they can do the Open. That is not what this one should be. Now, we could, even with the scaled and the foundation, you should be able to do that. Okay, you can still grab someone, but they aren't going to be in the competitive track. Now, we have to make sure that we are not afraid to program correctly and think about the athlete that should be making it to the next stage. If there is a massive deficit somewhere, then that person should not be in the next stage.
No, but they should also know where that deficit is.
Without a doubt, 100%, 100%. So you have to be very smart, I think, about the level that you are testing, the skill level that you're testing, the strength level that you're testing, so that you know that when you get them to the next stage, whatever, and again, depending how many, whether it's quarterfinals, semis, now it's semis, what should we know what the base limit is that these athletes can do?
Right.
I mean, that's what this is supposed to be, which means, and it used to, I mean, think about how it used to be. We used to know that the Open was, oh, the Open is just super fast, and the regionals would get super heavy. And I mean, I think about that now, and that was not the case. It wasn't just super fast back then. It was heavy. There was heavy in the Open. You know, there was long in the Open. There was technical in the Open. So now it's like, okay, if we have 3 weeks, you need to have a very, very balanced test of,
Yes.
doesn't have to be the highest level, but a way to throw a gradient of a very solid, complete
Yes.
test.
And why that's so important now, and I think Beck had mentioned the Community Cup, with the Community Cup being level set, no pun intended, you need to make sure that the test is a good test of fitness based off CrossFit's definition of fitness so that you get the right level to the right people.
Totally.
It's like, hey, I'm a level 9 in 22 because there was no lift. And then in 23, I'm a level 6 because you put a 1 rep max thruster in. And in 24, I'm back to a level 9 because there's nothing heavy. It was the lightest Open in the history of the CrossFit Open in 2024. And then now here I squeaked into like the last, did I tell you I made level 9?
No, dude.
Yeah, I made it.
Dang.
I'm pretty sure.
You are the line?
I'm the line, right? My name on the leaderboard is the red line, and they're just like, all right, you can come.
Oh,
And
that's
so when
awesome.
we have these levels that are supposed to mean something, we better have a baseline of what is fitness, and this is what we're testing, which is the ultimate test of fitness. That is the CrossFit Games, and here's the starting line. It's also a test of fitness, the test of your fitness.
Yeah.
If we're going to give you a level, that needs to be repeatable. Not the same workouts every time, but that test of fitness needs to be repeatable year in and year out, because if that's the feedback I'm trying to get for where I am physically in my fitness journey, then that needs to be an appropriate test. If it changes so dramatically every year, or it's missing all of these pieces, and you just throw a new piece in, I mean, what was it, 22 to 23? When did we have the thrust? Was that 24? 23.
23.
The year before, or maybe in the year after, there's like nothing.
Right.
23, 1 max thruster. 24, the heaviest weight we lifted was 185, and we did it for deadlifts. Where's the continuity of the test there?
Right.
It's not. And so we need to have that in order to give everybody, like, the deal for the Open should be, when you sign up for this, you're going to know exactly where you're at. And the test is going to be balanced enough across 3 weeks to give you that direct feedback. Not, hey, you lucked out this year, no heavy barbells. You're like, oh, cool. Some people like that.
Yeah, and I saw something. Seth had it in there up in the comments. I can't remember where, it was a ways back, but he was asking about, since like the inception of the Open, has the point changed, or the purpose of it changed? And I do think that it has. And I'm not sure. I mean, we always try to cast the wide net. And maybe it was hey, we want to get more people into the net, so we need to make it look a particular way, which I think you could almost do that if you have another step between Open and semis, like with the quarterfinals. So again, you can move people in there. Now, I think if you're going to go to the quarterfinals, it would have to be a bigger swath, especially if you're going to do like what we did this year. I mean, because you're still you're missing. There are massive holes in the program that was today.
Right.
So I think that we've always talked about there being a 2-prong kind of a setup. qualifying people to the next stage and having the annual fitness test for people.
Right.
And I still think that does hold true. But when it is 1%, when it has to test the 1% to move on and everyone else, like I think you have to be very intentional about where the vast majority of people need to get stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, that lets us know where they are for the community cup, because they're your levels.
Right.
And it also advances the top 1% should be able to do all the things, and you should not be able to. And that's why you're not top 1%.
That's why you're level 4.
Exactly. So, I mean, that really should be, I think we need to lean into that and not be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Not be afraid.
I'm going to pull this up before I even read it, just because it says genuine question. Since it's different each year, does it matter as much, since any year it could be anything? Like this year it's cardio year, but next year, well, that's what we're saying. We're saying that's what the problem is.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that way.
Shouldn't be that, because then your level means dick. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I'm a level 9 cardio year, but I'm a level 4 gymnastics year.
But why does everyone give James Sprague shit about the games?
Right.
I mean, that's it right there.
Because he didn't lift 295 at the CrossFit Games.
Right.
Like, he couldn't do it. Now he can.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch did like 345 for a clean complex at Wadapalooza.
Right.
Which was amazing.
So
that's where all this is coming from. So if we're going to herald the CrossFit Games as the proving ground to find the fittest on earth, which it is, the whole stage to get there should be a iteration of that. Mm-hmm. Degree, not kind. If we want to bring in the level 1 manual right to the forefront, we're still giving you a beautiful, balanced test of fitness. You are going to know exactly how fit you are and where your deficiencies are, whether it's gymnastics, weightlifting, monostructural, long, short intensity, whatever it is. You're going to know exactly where you stand, and a level will match what that is relative to the peers that are taking the test. And then you get to work on all of that. Wherever you failed at the margins of your experience in the Open, you're going to get that feedback to make you better in the long run. And then 12 weeks later, we get the Community Cup, and hopefully it's an even better test to see if you've improved on those things.
Dude, I'm nervous about that.
I'm nervous too, because they're crowdsourcing from us.
Oh my God. I'm so like, I just was like, I think that was a fail. And no, I'm not Trish. I heard you guys talking about that. I thought that was so funny.
You got accused of being Trish?
Yeah, they thought that I was Trish. And
Sevon's
like, no, Bill's got way too much going on. Which
I got accused
totally
of
true.
not even being me on Sevon's podcast.
I was a little shocked to see your name on there too, I'll admit.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
I'm level 6. I didn't even mean to pull that up, but there we are. Yeah, I was like, that's not you. Like, no, it really is me. I have 37 subscribers on my own personal YouTube channel that I haven't looked at in a decade. I was like, no, there's no way. I was like, no, it's me. I just didn't feel like commenting from here. I just want to watch.
And you were like,
in the comments, I was like, hey,
say something that only I would know. I'm like,
and I know you didn't think it was actually me, because you're like, no, I'm good. I'm like, nothing personal, dude. Like, hey, what happened to us? Or like, what fast food chain were we eating when we got locked in the stairwell in a hotel in Dubai?
Dude, that's a good one. God, I have so many stories, dude. I fucking forget about all that shit. That was a good one.
That was one of the best.
Hallway.
Me and Bill were like, we went from one floor. I'll just say the answer is like, we had just gotten lunch. We just got 5 guys, and we took it back to our hotel. And I can't remember. I think it was like we were on one level. Let's just say we're on level 11. I think Kristen was on level 12. She's like, hey guys, come up here because I want to talk about the show or something. And so we go the stairwell because the elevators, I don't know why. We were like right by the stairs, I think.
It was right by the stairs, and it's not going to wait for the thing to go up one flight.
Yeah, it's like, all right. Yeah. So we go out, and then we walk up, locked. Like shit. So we go back down, locked. Meanwhile, our phones barely work. And so I just text Kristen. I was like, hey, if you get this, come find us in the stairwell. we're in between levels 11 and 12. And then me and Bill just sat on the ground
Sat down and had lunch.
ate lunch together, wondering if this was it, you know? You find these two skeletons with old Five Guys wrappers right next to them. All right. Let's get to it. So traditionally, with our reprogramming, like I said, is we tried not to trample on the entire project. We just totally overhauled the whole thing.
We stepped all over the whole thing.
Before we start, Bill, what are your feelings on repeat workouts in the open in this 3-week format?
I really, my gut feeling is I don't like it. I'm
the same way.
I just don't. I know in our methodology we talk about, repeatable, observable, measurable, all of that kind of stuff, with repeatable being a thing. But when you only have 3 weeks, I just feel like this is, as much as it's the test, I get it. But as much as this is the test, this is the welcome wagon for everyone to get into the season. So like, I think that it should be fun. Like, I want to see new creativity.
Yeah, that's
like, I want to see how you can get everyone in and be like, dang, that was a crazy how I could do this, and I could almost. That's what I'm more into, because like, honestly, every single time I've redone a test, okay, yes, I'm doing the same workout, but what are the other things that happen during that day? Like, it's not a pure test in a vacuum. It really isn't.
Right.
How did you sleep? Were you sick when you did it? Are you feeling fine now?
Right.
Were you in the middle of, having a kid, or you just had a kid, or you got in a big fight, or whatever the thing is? It's very difficult to make the scenario look the same, even though you're doing the same work. So I get it, but I'm not a fan of it. And plus I'm a programmer guy. I want to see cool programs.
And that's really too, is like, there's really nothing wrong with repeats. That's part of our, creed.
Right.
Is right. Measurable, observable, repeatable.
Right.
Bring in a repeat from 2022 to 2023.
Yeah.
22.3 from 2022, give it to the public, try it again. Right. And as George asked, is like, does it drive participation? No, because nobody knows what the workouts are going to be anyways. Right. The programming doesn't drive the participation. Specifically, what should be is the excitement of what could be coming.
That's what I think
should drive the participation. Like, hey, the Open is fun every year. It's always fresh. It's always new. Maybe throw in a repeat every once in a while, because, okay, for me and Bill, we're like creativity snobs. Like, I don't want a workout I've already seen. I want 3 new ones.
Right.
So I can gush over them.
I
only get 2.
The only repeating stuff that and I don't do it, but I get it, and this way makes way more sense to me, is when you do the repeats as training up to the test. So it's like, when you redo some of the open workouts, you know what you did. You want to see kind of where your training's been going. Are you on the right track? So that now those are like practice tests. So when you get to the actual Open, it's a new test. It's like, okay, are you ready now? Not like, did you do the same thing that you did 4 years ago, or better, or worse?
Okay, so in this aspect, he's like, Dave said it beforehand, maybe during it, it's like, oh, it's a repeat. Now I want to try it again. I can see that as a participation. But if we think about just driving open participation signups, that's where I'm looking at it from. We don't know what it is. So yeah, if it's week 2, it's like, oh, okay, I did that before. Because there'll be a drop off every week. That's just what the Open does. It's always done that since the beginning. There's a drop off. So yes, maybe it would drive more people to want to do it. And depending on what it is, less people to want to go through it again. But all right. So usually we have these rules. Right?
Scrap them and toss them.
Yeah, totally scrapping them.
I like that. Cancel.
Now, what we've always said we wanted to do with this show, as more of an interactive show, is, all right, each programmer, we're going to go 25.1, 2, and 3. Bill doesn't know what I programmed. I didn't know what Bill programmed. And then once he sent them to me, I put them in here after I'd already done mine. So I may know what Bill has done, but I didn't know it prior to, and Bill definitely doesn't know what this is. And Every once in a while, we get really close to each other. And we program similarly, too. All right, that's stupid. But yeah, then we're like, all right, who liked what? Chase or Bill, all the way. We'll see. We never really end up getting to it, but I still have hopes that one day we'll do it. All right, your reprogrammers for the day are myself and Bill Grundler.
Excellent.
Let's go. All right, 25.1. CrossFit's was AMRAP in 15 minutes, 3 lateral burpees over the dumbbell, 3 dumbbell hang clean and jerks at 15:35, and then a 30-foot walking lunge, 15 feet down, 15 feet back, no weight. Add 3 reps to the burpees and dumbbells each time until the time is done. Now, week 1, if we want to think thematically, I'm going to say should, I would love your opinion here, should be something that is wide open to the masses, yet devastating to the fittest. Not so much so it just sucks for them the whole time. Like, oh, great, let me just bash my head into the ground because none of this is difficult for me to do.
Right.
Which is kind of what this was.
Right. Jeez, oh man.
Right?
Yeah.
But it should be like, hey, everybody gets to come play. The fittest will rise to the top, yet there's still enough in here that everybody's going to get their piece of the pie from a fitness perspective. So
yeah, I could see that.
That's how I look at week 1. Nobody should be outed week 1. I can't do that. Why did I even we don't need to be programming muscle ups as the first movement of the open workout anymore.
Right.
Especially in week 1. Now that year, I think it was week 3, but that was week 3 of 5.
No, I can see that. That makes total sense. I mean, again, we want to cast a wide net. We want people to be stoked to do it. You kind of want it to build across, right? Like you're fired up to do it, and then you're in it. You're like, oh man, okay, cool. I either did great or I sucked. Now, what's going to be the next one? And right. you want I think when everyone can. Not everyone. When generally speaking, it's something that everyone can get involved with.
Corey.
I think that's cool.
Just quoting the level 1, broad, general, inclusive.
Look at
correct. That. With relative intensity across all fitness levels.
Yep.
All right. So here's what I did. Nothing sexy. Nothing crazy. A little bit of a tip of the cap to, I believe it was 19.1. Or maybe it's 20.1. Where it was row cal, I think it was 19.1. 19.1, there was 19 cals on the row, 19 wall ball shots.
I remember that.
Yep. Then every person under 6 feet tall lost their effing mind. The first time in their CrossFit career, they didn't have the upper hand because of height. Which I've said this on the podcast before. You thought that was hard for you, Mr. Micro Machine? Try doing it at 6'2", 215, where nothing's stopping you from just burying yourself for 15. So I put 15 and 12 cal row, 45 seconds of work, less if you're sprinting, but let's just say at a casual, decent pace. And then 10 burpee box jump overs. Back and forth. Hinge, pull, push, jump, a little bit of everything. We're not outing anybody, and this is going to get shitty quick.
Yeah.
And now you're just going to have to sit in it. No one can't do this. I mean, we're speaking majorities.
No, totally. Yeah, I get it.
And that's it. It wasn't sexy. I had something completely different up until I decided to pull yours in. I was like, I had too many of the similar things. I was like, I'm changing this one dramatically. I changed it to this. I'm happy with this. It doesn't need to be spectator or beautiful. I was like, maybe I'll throw a 5 in there, but you'll see is I had too many. I want to default to couplets and triplets and monostructural weightlifter now. I just wanted a blend of everything to keep it pretty basic. But I took a chance and I just went super basic here.
Well, the thing is that it's as long as it fits with the other things, and that could be totally fine. I mean, I don't know what we have other things are. So
yeah.
Mine was funny is when I was playing with mine.
Okay. Here's Bill's. Bill's is 1 minute max cal row, 1 minute max snatches at 135 and 95, 1 minute of bar facing burpees, rest a minute, and then 2 minutes of each, rest 2 minutes, 3 minutes of each. Now, before you get into how you're scoring it, my first iteration of this was 5 minutes max burpees over the rower, rest a minute. 5 minutes max alternating dumbbell snatches, rest a minute. 5 minutes max cal row. I didn't know that you programmed this, but I changed it. And then once I pulled your ins, I was like, son of a bitch. Like, how close do we need to get sometimes with these? All right, so go through your scoring because it's total cals, total snatches.
Well, because originally I started with shoulder overhead. That's why that was
And
so
then
snatches.
total burpees.
Yeah. So what I wanted was this, and we've talked about this a handful of times. Like when you have, like you have your Metcon part, and then you have your strength lift afterwards. How you would score that? How would you score that? You know, for like a 2 score, or do you just make it as 1 score? And we've talked about placing your part A, placing your part B, but then your score for that 25.1 would be the average of the two. We've talked about something like that, or I've talked about something like that. Originally, this was a couplet, and I had calories and I had shoulder to overhead, and the weights increased originally.
Okay.
And then I was like, when I got through the other ones, I'm like, you know what? I want a third one. I want this to be a couplet.
Okay.
But what I wanted to do is, all right, let's just make it pure monostructural, pure weightlifting, pure gymnastic. So then what I said is, okay, and now on top of that, we'll play with an interval style in a capacity setup.
Yep.
So you add up all of your calories in that, like between the 1 minute to 2 minute and 3 minute, that comes up with a number. You are scored with everyone at that number. So let's say you're 100th in the thing. Then you do, yeah. So you're scored on that. Then all your snatches are added up. Okay. Let's say you're. What I was thinking was with that weight, the 190, 135, 95. What I was thinking with that is, okay, yes, that will cut out some people. That's fine. They can get 1 calorie each or 1 rep each time. They have 3 minutes or 1 minute to get a rep. That just puts them low on this particular thing. So now they're scored individually on that one.
Yep.
Then they're scored individually on the burpees. So Colton wins the burpees, you know, and everyone gets graded up against that. Then you have your 10th place, your 100th place, and your 1st place. Those get added together, and that's where you get your score from. So could you technically game part of it? Yeah, but it'll drop you so low that now it'll mess with your score. That's kind of what I was playing with. And we haven't really done it that way. I wanted to experiment with that. I thought it would be fun to have that, and it allows the people that are like, okay, well, I can't do that weight. So you get a 0 in that weight. So what? But you can get all the calories on the row. You can get as many burpees as you can. So it's like, all right, well, then I'm 2/3 of the athlete. What's my 2/3 of the score?
Okay.
Something like that. That's kind of what I was playing with.
Why not just like add all the reps together? And if they can't do any snatches, you're like, hey, all right, you just don't get those reps.
Because since I didn't test anything, I didn't know where that would be. I mean, in all reality, for top athletes, you're probably going to be pretty dang close. Like if you were to look at 1 minute.
Yeah, like you're not going to go send that minute. So maybe 25 to 27.
So, like you probably honestly would be like 20 on all of those, right? If you're if you're like top athlete. I'm talking top. So remember, we got to look for our 1%, right? True. They would probably be pretty close to that.
I mean, yeah, they'll make their hay in rep volume.
Right. And so, I mean, with these, I probably could do something like that. I didn't. When you said send me the things, I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that I needed to send it all the things.
Them now.
So, but that would work too. Either one of those. It's just in a way so that like they're all taken into account equally, and that becomes your score between the 3.
Yeah. Question from back: do you feel like it gives an unfair advantage to those? Oh, more rest to those that. Well, if you can't snatch the weight, you're not getting the reps. So you're like,
right. And that'll put you way down low on the leaderboard on that one part. It's a great question. I mean, because I always think about that, the whole, the whole Pat Barber thing, but I don't know, like with with it being the open, like there's massive drops that you're going to take.
Yeah.
It isn't like, well, there's only going to be 10 that I'm going to go down because I decided to go easy on it.
Right. I also
that would be
think
different.
Since you separated them and you're averaging their performance on all three to give them one score,
Right.
it's not as advantageous because, yes, I could see someone being like, smash the row. I get 30 cals.
Yep.
When other guys are getting 20, 25. Smash the burpees, get another 5. That offsets the 10 I didn't do if you're doing total reps.
Right.
I could see that. Also not sustainable.
No. And I mean, the everyone will go out hard because they'll know that they're fresh on the ones. Like the 3 minutes will be so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
So bad.
But right. I thought it was fun. That's crazy that you were doing basically the same type of thing.
Just in blocks.
Yeah.
Damn. I just wanted to, I've always wanted there to be, we did 7 minutes of burpees one year.
Yeah.
It's like, how awful would it be if we just did 7 minutes of max cals on the rower?
Terrible.
It'd be awful.
I mean, like, but so think about that. Would that be, think about if you did 7 minutes, make it 5 minutes. 5 minutes of burpees, 3 minutes rest. 5 minutes of rowing, 3 minutes rest. 5 minutes of squat clean thrusters.
Yeah. Or if you want the reps to be equal, and this is where I was thinking is like, okay, 5 minutes of burpees of the rower, 80 to 100 reps.
Yep.
And those that are doing 100 are either that because they're fit or they just made a mistake because like it's a little harder to do with the rower especially.
Yeah.
5 minutes of rowing, same range. It's 80 to 100 cals. You're averaging 20 cals a minute under fatigue. And then if you want to have an equivalent barbell cycling movement, 100 reps at that weight, it might just be something like dumbbell snatches because to hold 20 reps a minute, that's about as fast as you can just cycle the dumbbell. So that 80 to 100 rep range is equal for all three. So no one can gamify that system, the 5 minute block, rest 1 minute. And the reason why I wanted 5 to 1 is to do this little like tip of the cap where like we're doing 25.1. So it's 5.1,
Gotcha.
5 to 1 work to rest ratio kind of a deal.
Yeah.
So, but we've done burpees, we've done dumbbell snatches. So I was like, all right, I'm changing it. And I don't like it, but I do like it. So, all right. 25.2. That is the repeat of 22.3. Pull-ups, double unders, thrusters, all the way through, adding weight, increasing the skill. This is mine. I went long. So 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 of wall ball shots because I wanted squatting in there. And I wanted wall balls in there. And then 25, 20, 15, 10, 5 of toes to bar. And then 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 of wall walks.
Dude, I like that one a lot.
Just squatting and throwing, squatting and pressing. Then you got that interior flexion of the gymnastics hanging on the pull-up bar. And then you have that gymnastics pressing going through it. And just a long grinder all the way through.
I like that one a lot. That's what do you think of time frame on that?
I think I'd put a 20-minute time cap on it. And then the time frame, like Karen is snuck in there. Mm-hmm. And 75 toes to bar. So you're thinking like 5 to 7 minutes. I mean, I think all of it is right around 15 to 20 minutes is that range.
Yeah.
With some people doing a little bit less, obviously. But this is your long, high volume, constant one.
Yeah, I like that one.
And we're just like every movement pattern in a sense. I'm going to program this probably next week.
Yeah, dude, I like it too. I probably will steal that one.
I did one today. So Wednesdays, I'm trying to do a bit like your Sundays.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Not that long, like your long grinder. I need something that's long. It's high volume. It's not necessarily difficult individually. I need to put myself in that fatigue state to continually keep moving.
Yeah.
So I did this one today. It was 30 cal row, 20 good old fashioned burpees, 10 clean and jerks at 155 for 5 rounds. So 30, 20, 10, Cal row is about 90 seconds. Burpees about 90 seconds. The barbell after that fatigue is about a minute. Because I'm doing singles. I'm not touching going that shit.
Yeah. Totally.
For 5 rounds, and it was just a good 20 to 25 minute just slog.
Dude, those are I really like those.
I just need to do that more often.
Yeah.
So
Those
that's
are fun.
that's what this one is. All right,
Okay.
Bill.
All right. So finally,
Oh, we both had toes to bar in ours.
we know that's like your entry level gymnastic. You know what I mean?
Phase 1.
This one was very similar to what was that number? We did it in the open. It was BKG and
Oh,
Dan.
16-2.
16-2, and we did it for the AGQ for the Masters, where it was
AGOQ.
squat cleans, AGOQ, AGQRST.
TUV. IQ.
And it was the cleans, squat cleans, toes to bar, double unders.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, instead of it just being, I like the cleans. I really like that. I brought them down a little bit. I know that there was one more weight-wise in the 16-2 that had the 315 for like as many as you can get up at the top end.
Right.
What I wanted to do is I wanted to blend that, which would allow people to showcase some strength that they have. We're squatting, so I think that's important. And then we also, as you're moving, you get to increase your level of gymnastics on this. So 15 squat cleans, 95 and 65. Actually, I think that's actually starts lighter than what they did in the original one.
Yeah, they started at 35.
So I want everyone to be able to play. And then you have 15 toes to bar. And then you go up in weight, down in reps on the squat cleans. So 13 to 135, 95. And again, another set of 15 toes to bar. Then from that, we'll go up 11 at 185 and 135 for the squat cleans, 15 pull-ups, 9 squat cleans at 225, 155, again, 15 pull-ups. And then we go to the third block, which would be 6 squat cleans at 255, 175. And then we go to bar muscle-ups, 15. 3 squat cleans, 275, 195, 15 bar muscle-ups. And what I didn't do on this was I didn't put a time cap on it because I wanted people to, whichever element was going to be the one that was fouling them up, I want them to spend some time working on it. So if they get stuck on squat clean.
You mean a time check?
A time check. So like, every
I had a time cap in there off just, did I screw that up?
No. Actually, no, you're right. It's a time cap. At that, but I didn't want, in the original version, there were time blocks. So that would be your stop gate. And I didn't want that to be the stop gate. I wanted that if wherever you got stuck, either gymnastic wise or weight wise, that you got the rest of the time to work on that. You didn't just get timed out. I don't like when that happens because I want people.
Nobody does. Like, oh, I got capped in 4 minutes. Cool open workout.
Right. I didn't want that. So a little bit of weight in there. Again, stop gate on the weight, and then increasing gymnastic. Not crazy, not like gargantuan numbers, but enough, I think.
Yeah. Space Walls. When's that T-shirt coming out, Wex? When's that T-shirt coming out? Okay, I like that. Just increasing weight, increasing skill. You took out the double unders. Fluff gone. Just go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good thing about 3 weeks is that it's not a terribly long show. All right. Drum roll. 25.3. 5 wall walk, cow row, wall walk, deadlift, wall walk. We all saw it.
Yeah.
All right. So, Bill, you had an interval one week 1.
Yep.
With increasing time in your blocks. I did very similar and pulled off a little of 16-2 in my thought process.
Good man. Hey, it's the greatest setup that has ever been.
It's the greatest setup. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just modifying it.
That's what you do. Modify the best thing out there.
Now in week 1, it was just, can you push and hold on? Can you row? Can you burpee box jump? Very basic skills of monostructural gymnastics. Week 2, it was a grinder of volume. You're not getting ousted by weights. You're not really getting ousted by skills. Toes to bar, wall ball shots, wall walks. Week 3, however, you got a 5-minute running clock or an AMRAP in 5 minutes. You have 100 double under buy-in, 30 chin over bar pull-ups, and then max clean and jerks at 135 and 95. Grace weight. You'll rest 2 minutes, and then you do an AMRAP in 6 minutes. 100 double under buy-in, 30 chest to bar pull-up buy-in, and then max clean and jerks at 185 and 135. Rest another 2 minutes, add a minute, AMRAP in 7 minutes, 100 double unders, 30 bar muscle ups, max clean and jerks in the time remaining at 225 and 155. No, not everybody is going to get to the end here.
Good.
Right? Your score is total clean and jerks for the workout. So your total clean and jerks at 135 plus 185, and if you get any at 225 in that time remaining, if you can't finish the clean and jerks, right, if everybody caps out at 185, your tiebreaker is the time to complete this top portion.
Okay.
Right? And so you get 5 minutes to max yourself out. So if you're like, hey, I can't lift 185. All right, well, then you better send your 135 and 95. And if you can't do it, then welcome to the test. It's week 3. This is grace weight. This is a benchmark weight for a power clean and jerk. And then if you come to the part B, you better send 100 double unders and 30 chest bar pull-ups and get your tiebreaker with all the other people who can't lift this weight. And if you can't lift this weight, the same thing applies. So that's it.
So is it after the pull on
Yeah, it's after the gymnastics portion.
Okay. Yeah, right. I like that.
And so your fittest people, your top 1%, are all finishing this workout.
Yep.
But they are going to have to bust their ass to separate themselves from each other each time. So that's my point 3.
Again, when you look at it, could everyone, is this inclusive enough for everyone to get it, to everyone to play?
Yep.
And doesn't move the top 1% on to where, okay, I now know that the people in the semis are going to be able to move 225 and 155 for a clean and jerk, and do muscle ups at speed and not have a problem with double unders. Yep. You know that they have that ability. Now, when you get them into semis, it's like, okay, now let's do something big with these guys. We can do something to really, really know who we're testing.
Yeah,
I think that's great. That's awesome.
Yep. Caroline, what's up? So someone who can't do chest bar pull-ups,
they enter the scale division or the foundational division.
Wait, but I don't. Okay, let me read this. So someone who can't do chest bar pull-ups, but for a bunch of reps at the first rep would beat someone on part B that went further in the workout if all the reps are only cleans? I don't understand your question. I generally don't understand your question. There's not really a
they can't do pull-ups?
Yeah, I don't understand. Should we rewrite it again? I don't understand your question. Like, nobody's going to do better than somebody else if they can't do pull-ups. Right? I don't know. All right. Bill, your final one. Couldn't it be simpler?
And look, and I just want everyone to note that I put shuttle runs on here. I'm the one that's always talking about I'm tired of stupid shuttle runs, but I already, I was looking at burpees, and there were some iterations of burpees in there, and it didn't want burpees, and I already have burpees in the first part. So I'm like, okay, I thought it would have been actually pretty cool to do 15 burpees over a bar and then wall walks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I already have that. What else can we do that's going to be fast? I wanted a fast one. I wanted something that's like, you just got to go.
Yeah.
So I was also playing with handstand walks and wall walks, or handstand push-ups and wall walks. So you use the same line. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go something faster. So 10 lengths down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
Down and back 1.
No, lengths, not laps.
Lengths.
Lengths.
Yeah.
1,
2,
2, 3,
Got it.
4. Yeah. Get to the wall, 5 wall walks, 4 rounds. I want it fast.
That is fast.
Yeah.
Ugh. 1 out of 5.
I know you were thinking about that. I was thinking about that too, but I was like, okay, what I didn't want is just because the number originally I had it at 3. And I'm like, I think it's going to be messy.
Okay.
I just thought that if it was that it would for not for the 1%, but for the masses out of that it would start it would just kind of it would end up taking people too long. I didn't want it to be
Right.
like 6 minutes. You know what I mean? I wanted or 7 minutes, 8 minutes. I wanted it to be like 5. So
Yeah. All right, Carolyn. You're saying only clean and jerk reps count. Someone could do 20 reps at the first weight, but get stuck on part 2 of the chest to bar. Athlete 2 gets 15 reps on the second part and completes the chest to bar. Well, then, so they both can't lift the second bar, but they do more work to bind. I mean, okay, so then you could just count all the reps to offset that if you want. Does that help? I mean, I see what you're saying. They still didn't do more clean and jerks, but they did more work. Okay. Yeah. Count all the reps then.
There you go.
Yeah. I just didn't want to huge numbers, but sure. Same difference. Yet more work is accounted for. Sure. Yeah. Count all the reps. Does that help?
That's fair.
Yeah. That's
fair.
Okay. Yeah. That's what you're saying. Buy-in is a matter score. Can't collect. All right. Yeah. Count all the reps.
Done.
Discredit my clean and jerks total. Thank you, Caroline. So yeah, count them all. Fuck it. You're right. Yeah. Thanks. Yes, thank you for fixing the fix.
They fixed it.
Yeah, great.
But and you know what? That's actually a great point to make, because a lot of times when we program or when people program, they see it in their eye, and it takes a third person outside of the sphere to be like, okay, but what does that mean though? Like here's what's actually happening. You know what you want it to look like. You know what you're picturing everybody battling through the 100 and the pull and getting to the clean and jerk.
Yep.
But then you have to that's where you got to look for the other.
Why you round table these things, guys?
Totally.
That was a great suggestion.
That's awesome.
Yes, thank you for bill-proofing my programming.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's a good, very good. All right. We do these things, and then we get to the end.
And all I know, if nothing else, is I have 3 cool workouts that I'm going to program at some point.
I know. Yeah.
Actually 6, because I want to do I want to do mine too, and I want to do yours.
I know. Same.
So there's a week of workouts, you guys. There you go.
I like Bartley's suggestions. We should just put these up for little mini competitions.
Oh, that would be cool.
It's hey, just do this on your own. Enjoy.
Yeah.
But I do think going forward is that we need to refocus the importance of the programming. No, Caroline, it was very helpful.
No,
I genuinely didn't understand, and I was genuinely asking you for your help, and you helped tremendously. So thank you.
That was great.
Fantastic.
That was great.
And Caroline will crush that one because she's gotten good at double unders.
Yeah.
That was like her old Rich climbing the rope thing, but now it's not a thing anymore. Yet I still bring it up every time. Right? But the reason why we want to share those things is you guys don't know how long I've been thinking about this programming. Probably at 10 o'clock this morning. That was 2 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I haven't been spending all year trying to figure that out. I spent 2 hours throwing this stuff together. Same with Bill. And then we just round table it here. But I think the thing that I believe the CrossFit community who does the Open deserves is a full, well-rounded test of fitness so that they can get some true feedback on where they're at. We said this at the beginning of the show. If you're handing out levels, then we should probably have a balanced test to make these levels appropriate, not a year-to-year thing. I know somebody's like, oh, even at the games, people suggest like, oh, the programming should just be standardized. Then it's the same thing. And it's like, no,
That's
you
High
don't
Rocks.
have to do that.
Yeah, that's High Rocks.
You don't have to do that, right? That is High Rocks now, right? You don't have to do that. It can still be, it's like, and it could be, you could put like even simpler guardrails, like, hey, we need something short and intense. We need something long. And then we need something that is gatekeeped with gymnastic skills and weight. And even that is going to bother some people. It's like, oh, well, then we have too much constraints. Like, not really. You know how much you can do in a 5 to 10 minute window? It's like, hey, 5 to 10 minutes, make it hard, make it quick, let's go. Make the long one week 1 so everybody knows, like, hey, listen, we're going 15 plus. Who knows? We know we'll all be able to do it. I mean, we already kind of know that right now anyway.
Right, totally. I just think, and this is going to be the old man on the porch yelling at the kids, running around with the rock and roll music and stuff like that. Get your damn kids, get off my lawn, or back in my day, or whatever the thing is. But I think it's important to not be afraid to make it hard, not make it breathing hard, like where everyone's just gassed because it's so easy that everyone can just like, their pulse, their heart rates are up at like 200.
Right.
Not that. It's testing. I mean, when we did the Glassman journal, about the Open before there was an Open, the testing and the labeling.
Right. Yeah.
Like that. He
And 3
said
of those are
you're
kind of
not
the same
supposed
format.
you're not supposed to be doing it. You're not supposed to get everything. If you can get everything, you deserve to be the fittest on the planet.
Right.
And then we just want to get everyone who can get most of the stuff or do it pretty dang good. And then we battle those guys. Everyone else should get stopped. You should get, like, I can't do that piece, or I can't do it very fast. That's not a bad thing. And I think that we have this weird feeling that like the Open is just supposed to be warm and fuzzy for everybody. And it's warm and fuzzy when people get PRs. It's warm and fuzzy when you go out and did something that you've been testing yourself to see if you can do. You didn't know what was going to get handed to, and then you did it. Like, that's the warm and fuzzy.
You're Dagger, where have you been?
Oh, dang. What's up, dude? But I think that's important. I think we need to not be, and especially with the scaled and the foundational levels in there, we cannot, especially when it's supposed to be doing the 1%, we cannot like lean to the, let's just make it, well, everyone's the fittest. The right people made it in. They would make it in all the time. That's not the guide. That's not the gauge.
I get the fear, right? But the fear is, and this is where
we do stuff because it's hard, people. That's what makes us CrossFitters.
Right. This is where I would say I'm not speaking on behalf of CrossFit. I'm actually wearing a CrossFit Big D shirt, and this gym doesn't exist anymore. Speaking on behalf of a closed gym. The fear of, as someone said, the DEI Open. That's that thinking and that fear of ousting people or not letting everybody come play in the sandbox, which the programming should allow most people to at least dip their toes in the sand a little bit, is like the thing that made CrossFit so enticing to those people was because it's challenging, because it's hard, not because it hurts or it's too intense. It's all relative. And the results that came from those things, hard work, relative intensity, balanced programming, results ensued in spades. And we separated ourselves from the pack because not everybody wants to do those things. Here's the spoiler alert. Even if you lower the bar, those same people still don't want to do it.
Yep.
So why lower the bar? The only thing you do when you lower the barrier of entry or you lower your bar or you lower your standards, you get away from what made you. At our core, what CrossFit really is. It's okay if people don't want to do it. This mystique of 30 million CrossFitters by 2030 that people have been stuck on for the last couple of years Do you guys know how small of a number that is relative to the number of people on this planet? And it's not by lowering the bar to more people to get more people. It's about separating yourself with results and effectiveness to entice those people to join your program. What has happened is we have lowered the bar of what CrossFit is and means and those standards so much that we have brought ourselves down to the level of F45, of Orange Theory, of Barry's Bootcamp, of whatever boutique group fitness copycat bullshit program that is out there. And now we can't sit back and show, well, we're different because.
Yeah.
So then when you lower your bar to this level, no wonder people are going to bail and go to that thing. Because it's cheaper or it's nicer or they have cool music or like there's nothing to separate yourself anymore. That's why you're losing the battle to these copycat, run-of-the-mill, watered-down, fake CrossFit gyms because you haven't kept yourself above the grade. That's been the problem. And you can't do that in the open either.
No.
You don't want that.
Mm-mm.
The pride is that we are different.
At no time is it the right choice to make it easier or make it mediocre or like all-inclusive doesn't mean everybody can do everything because then it just doesn't matter. It doesn't count. There is nothing that separates it from the rest of the pack. And here's the thing. The people that we have, like the people that I have in my gym that are not CrossFit athletes, like I'm talking like games athletes, that whole scene, are in here busting their ass and they have massive changes.
Yeah.
And that's because the shit's hard and they are working hard. It's not that they're just breathing hard. Like I'm pushing them. I program hard. And they won't plateau because the program that I have is CrossFit. I program for the best and scale for the rest.
Right.
And that's what we do. I don't bring the bar down. I push my people up to the bar.
And those people that you scale for, you don't make it easier for them.
No.
You make it more accessible for them to do, and then they do the hard thing.
Yeah.
Which is intensity. Moving well, holding movement standards, being technically sound. And the open should be the same. Same. That was great. Well, that's our cue to stop the show. Oh, hey guys, thanks for joining us. We had some fun. We just wanted to shed some light on the things that we know and love and that we are here to be a part of no matter what. And how fun, engaging, and creative this thing could be. And we want people to be excited about the open and what the test is going to be, not just for, oh, okay, we're going to test my fitness, but like they know there's like that should be the carrot for the open.
Totally.
I'm not going to tell you the workouts, but you know you're going to get something great.
Yep.
It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be intense. And that's what you're signing up for. You're like, yep, I want to take the test and I want to get the feedback of where I am. And then we move on. I was like, all right, everybody, good job. No, I'm not going to say that. That one might get me fired. All right, guys, thanks for joining us today. We'll be back later. Is Pedro coming up? Does he got a show this afternoon? Let me check. I should know these things off the top of my head. It is Wednesday, so you know the barbell spin is tonight. Pedro, he has a show tomorrow, is what I see.
Okay.
He's got a show with JR. All right.
That'll be good.
Well, yeah, tonight, watch the spin. We got some competitions coming up this weekend. We will be back Friday?
Sure.
All right. We'll be back Friday. What it's going to be, you'll just have to wait and see. See you then.